Greetings, I'm Dev the developer.
And I'm Glitch, ready to stop your websites from looking like they were designed for a digital pocket watch. Let's make this data move.
So far, everything we've built has been for one screen size. We've been designing for a fixed width, which works great right up until someone pulls up your page on their phone. Today, we're talking about responsive web design. So, let me set the scene. You've put real time into a layout. The flex box is clean, the spacing is right, everything sits right where you intended it. And then you pull out your phone, load the page, and the text is a tiny thread.
It's honey, I shrunk the website. The buttons are tiny and you're pinching and zooming like you're trying to find Ant-Man in a haystack. It is a painful existence.
The frustrating part is that the CSS you wrote wasn't wrong. It did exactly what you told it to do. The problem is, what you told it to do was assume one screen width. You designed for a desktop and your phone is not a desktop.
So the code was correct, the assumption was wrong. It's like running a high-precision simulation on a pocket calculator. The logic is fine, but the infrastructure is lacking.
Exactly. Let me show you what that assumption looks like in actual CSS so we can see the problem concretely.
Container width 960. It's like we've built a rigid Iron Man suit that only fits Tony Stark, but now we're trying to shove the Hulk inside it.
There it is, a container with a fixed width of 960 pixels. On a widescreen monitor, that's totally fine. But on a phone that's only 390 pixels wide, this container is 960 pixels wide, and it just sticks out to the right.
And the browser doesn't shrink it. It just lets it overflow like a bad horror movie monster. You scroll sideways like you're reading a scroll from ancient times. Frustrating.
That's exactly it. Responsive design is about giving the browser better instructions. Instructions that work at any width. One layout to rule them all, and in the browser bind them. But before we touch that CSS, there's something in our HTML that we've had this whole time and never talked about. Let's look back at the HTML with me for a second. Right there in the head, line 6, with the meta tag name equals viewport. Every project you've started has had it and never explained why it's there. Today is that day.
I've been looking at that line for weeks. I assumed it was just the will of the compiler, like how some people just know how to fold a fitted sheet. Magic.
It is boilerplate, but it's important boilerplate. Without it, mobile browsers do something strange. They pretend the page is 980 pixels wide, even on a phone, and then zoom out to fit the screen.
They lie about their own width. I'm not small, I'm just far away. Why would they do that?
To handle old websites that weren't responsive. In the early mobile days, zooming out was better than showing a half cut off page, so the browser zoomed everything out to at least make the whole page visible.
So you get the whole page, but it's tiny and illegible. It's the Ant-Man experience, but without the cool powers. I'm understanding the history, but I don't like it.
That tag tells the browser to stop pretending. It says use the actual device width and don't zoom. That's what width equals device width means, and initial scale equals 1. It means start at full zoom and don't use any scaling tricks.
So without that tag, our responsive CSS would be ignored because the phone is stuck in the matrix delusion about being 980 pixels wide.
Exactly. That tag is what makes responsive design possible on mobile at all. It's not decoration. Every responsive page needs it, and now you know why.
Okay, so how long has this been a problem? Did everyone collectively decide to start using smaller screens at the same time, like a mass migration to Lilliput?
For a long time, the web was designed almost entirely for desktop screens. Monitors had predictable sizes. Designers set their container to something like 960 pixels wide and called it done.
960 pixels, a comfortable, predictable grid, a simpler time. but then smartphones showed up and blew that assumption into digital stardust.
At this point, more than half of all internet traffic comes from mobile devices. It flipped. Mobile is a majority now. You can't ignore it.
More than half. When you think about reaching that many endpoints, the optimal intervention thresholds for your layout become a priority for world domin. UX. You're designing for your primary audience first and then scaling up for larger screens. It's just common sense, even for robots.
Sure. One page, one URL, one HTTP document. The CSS adapts. That's the modern way.
Not a separate mobile site or an m.dot subdomain. The same page reads the environment and adjusts. It's like a data-driven prestige. I respect it.
Subdomains meant maintaining two code bases. It was expensive and error-prone. One update forgotten, and you had a fragmented experience.
A fragmented experience is aesthetically offensive. It's like having two different versions of the Terminator running at the same time. One is good, one is not.
Responsive design has three ingredients: flexible layouts, fluid images, and media queries. Let's go through each one with actual code. Ingredient 1 is flexible layouts. Let's swap pixels for percentages and see the magic happen.
Flexible container width 90%. It's like Ant-Man but for divs. It measures itself against whatever the parent is, honest size.
Exactly. On a wide monitor, it's wide. On a phone, it's narrow. It just works. And that plays nicely with Flexbox, which already thinks in proportions.
So Flexbox and responsive design are in a dynamic duo relationship. Think in proportions, not absolutes. The page becomes a system instead of a static blueprint.
Right, but on a huge monitor, 90% might be too wide, and that's why we use max width.
Max width 1200 pixels, it's the ceiling. The container grows up to that point and then says, no more, I have reached my final form.
You get flexibility on narrow screens and control on wide screens. Floor and ceiling. It's the most common pattern in real-world responsive CSS. Ingredient 2 is fluid images, because a giant image will blow past a flexible container if you don't constrain it.
An image that refuses to shrink, that's just rude. It's like a digital Hulk that won't turn back into Bruce Banner. Show me the containment protocol.
One rule: set max width equals 100% on images, and don't forget height equals auto.
Max width 100%, height auto, it's the shrink ray for media. The aspect ratio stays intact and the image stays in its lane.
The image scales down, not up past its natural size. It respects the container bounds. It's simple yet powerful. Now for the big one: media queries. Conditional styles based on the screen environment. It's the if statement of CSS.
If the screen is this wide, use these styles. It's like the sorting hat from Harry Potter, but for layouts. Slide therein, mobile.
Exactly. Let's see the syntax. We'll add a simple conditional rule.
At media, min width 768. If the screen is wide enough, the container turns light blue. It's like the layout is evolving based on its environment.
On a phone, this is ignored. On a tablet or desktop, it kicks in. The condition gates the whole block. We call this threshold a breakpoint.
Breakpoint, like where the layout breaks and needs a different strategy. I am prepared to experience this with great enthusiasm.
Don't pick breakpoints based on the device lists. Put them where your design starts looking bad. Shrink the browser, watch for text overlap or weird wrapping. That's the spot.
Content-driven breakpoints. The layout declares its own constraints by how it fails gracefully. There is no iPhone, only the content's needs.
And if we use mobile-first philosophy, start with the simplest version, single column, big text, then use media queries to add complexity as the screen gets wider.
Mobile is the majority traffic. Designing for mobile first ensures the most optimized experience for the majority. It's tactical common sense.
Exactly. Larger screens are an enhancement, not the starting point. That's the responsive mindset. In the next lesson, we go deep on media queries, real breakpoints, real layout changes. This lesson is the why, that is the how.
I am prepared. I shall provide my customary unsolicited commentary. It's a tradition, like bad JSON or dev's questionable bland t-shirt choices.
Every layout you build from here will be screen aware. Go build something that adapts. Don't just watch it, do it.